How everybody doing? This is Chris Drummond from Progressive Action. Most of the time I do these lives is a response to something. Union propaganda, something that's done, something that happened on the road, something that has something to do with transit and us being disrespected. And this union is doing everything in its power to get rid of Tramell. So it's transit. They want Tramell gone. And I'll be honest with you, I probably would have left all around the system. I was telling people I was leaving. I was out of the state looking for a home, ready to get up out of this piece. And if it wasn't for Canella calling me, threatening me, ain't nobody gonna run me off. Anywhere I leave, I'm gonna leave on my terms. Ain't nobody gonna run me off. And what he did, what happened at Bedford Park, if it wasn't for those situations, I'd probably be gone. I wouldn't be making the lives. There's a lot of calculations of things that have been done with this union. Actually, they kind of motivated me to stay. Because I hate bullies. I hate people trying to impose their will on people. I hate deceit. I hate corruption. I hate everything right now, in this moment, that the people, the leadership of this union, what it represents. And I'm not sure who in the unions, who in the top four, who's making these decisions. I do know over the past year or so, they've been moving doing a lot of things, and it has nothing to do with doing things without our vote, without the membership's input, without a sense of democracy. And everybody, and they really kind of, I don't know, numb to what's going on with the membership. But that's what power does to you. When that term says power corrupts, absolutely. Remember with Clinton, when he had Monica Lewinsky. A man, he thought he was in power, thought he was president of the United States, and he could do what he wanted to this young woman. All these politicians over the years, people in power, who have abused their powers over the years. Spitzer, Como, all these politicians, there's so many, and I apologize because I forget the names. But this union is the same way. They're arrogant to everything going on. They're so consumed with holding on to power. They think they got the answers to everything. They think they're going to outmaneuver us at every turn. They don't care about, you hear with politicians, Anthony Weiner, thank you. Sheldon Silver, another one. We're seeing it here, the Attorney General. We're seeing it. These was folks who just think they could do whatever they want. They was impervious to prosecution or being held accountable. This is who we dealing with right now. This is what we dealing with right this minute. That's a fact. I'm not making this up. So I'm usually, like I said, I make these lives in response to something. So the other day, our brother gets a call from a reporter from the Daily News. And the reporter wants to know, now all of a sudden, this thing happened at Bedford Park 5 months ago. And you got to understand, too, that Pete Donahue, a former writer with the Daily News, he's the head of PR with the union, TW Local 100. So he has connections with the Daily News. Young writer, I got a story for you. That's all he has to do. And he can do that with any media outlet because he can give them access to us our stories. It's quid pro quo. And when you're dealing with the media and journalists and what have you in these stories. So he says, I got stories. So this writer called Tramell wants to know what happened at Bedford Park. Now, what Tramell does is what the writer doesn't know. He don't know that Canella was a plaintiff in the case against Delta, that airline, and he lost. He don't know he had some issues with UPS. He don't know Canella has threatened people, including the union, online before. So this reporter doesn't have context. What the union believes is that Canella is absolved, and the arbitrator says Tramell's a liar. Now, the way they think it go, they just delusional in the way, because they're in the vacuum. They're so far removed for what's going on in our lives and what's going on around them. So, and you have a bunch of yes men up there. So nobody wants to get sent back to their tools. So they're going to, why would you argue with somebody that believes they're right anyway? Why would you push back against the president and others and VPs and what have you? When all you got to do is keep your mouth shut and you can stay off the road. Life is easy as a yes man if you say yes. So they think they get this reporter, and they think that Canella was absolved. Canella got 30 days in the final. He didn't get 5 days. He didn't get a warning. He didn't get a reprimand. He getting a re-instruction. They just said, we're glad we finally straightened this out. We apologize for barring you from the system, for forbidding you to come on the property during contract negotiations. We apologize for that. We apologize for taking your pass. We apologize for taking you to arbitration. That's what they believe. So what they think that Tramell, they do a story about this and try to uplift Canella and denigrate and diminish Tramell. And in the history of every time I tell somebody, and listen, let's be clear. I never wanted either man fired. I don't want any of us fired. I don't want Canella. I don't want Tramell. If Canella got 30 in the final, well, if he didn't get fired, don't even try to come with Tramell with that. But with anything, but in the history of anybody who's worked for the city, let's just say civil service, anywhere, you can be any white collar. He broke somebody's leg. And the person who had the shattered leg, excuse me for saying broken, is the one who gets browbeaten by the arbitrator. Now, if anyone who's ever been arrested, right, y'all know how it usually go. You get arrested, the DA takes over the case, he decides what the charges are. The state, the DA presents the charges. You're in court now. You either take a plea or you take it to trial. But at any point, the DA can go to the judge and say, we decide that instead of giving them with 7 counts, we're going to give them 1 count. Instead of a misdemeanor, instead of felony, we want to break it down to misdemeanor. So at any time, the prosecution has a lot of latitude. So I don't know. I can't tell you. So did Transit go to the arbitrator and say, well, we don't want them fired. We don't want them fired. Perhaps maybe you can do this for them. And this is why I'm talking about this. It's not good. This is very serious. I shouldn't talk about something you don't know. Like everybody said, we don't know what happened to in that room at Bedford Park. What I do know is that for the past few weeks, and some people watching this know it's the truth. Word was, this is a quote, that Canella Gomez is not going to be terminated. They're going to hit him hard with 30 days or 30 in the final, but they would tell you with absolute conviction that Canella Gomez was not going to get terminated. And you couple that with Canella going around telling people that they got something waiting on Tramell. And I said this in my last live. And I'm more convinced. Now that you send a reporter, now you want the Daily News wants to get on this? Now y'all want to spin, and what the union does, they put spin on everything. They during the contract negotiation, they was gonna fight the Taylor law. They didn't say it 6 months before. They didn't say this in 220. They didn't say it in 221. They didn't say it in 222. Coincidentally, now we're gonna fight the Taylor law. That's the type of rhetoric. And again, that's how stupid they did. They ain't fighting no goddamn Taylor. Excuse my language, it's Sunday. So forgive me, Jehovah. They ain't fighting no Taylor law. They know they ain't. That was smoke and mirror. Think about it. Picture any politician. We just coming back from COVID. The New York is devastated financially. They still trying to get people back into the offices. And these legislators, these politicians who got their big raises, who work 6 months a week, a month, 6 months a year and done nothing for us. Any civil service around here, but particularly us, because we paid them our coat money, so they say. They gonna let us devastate the city? They gonna let us shut this city down economically, and they trying to come back? How stupid did they think they are? What? We are. I'm sorry. How stupid that they gonna overturn what politicians? They couldn't even give us a list of politicians. Did you see? Was you watching the news? New York One, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and hear about politicians saying that they was gonna change the Taylor law? They're gonna reverse the Taylor law, like Roe versus affirmative action. There's a lot of the big issues that you see. Nobody said anything about the Taylor law, except for this union who were just trying to manipulate us. That's all they're trying to do. So I believe, trust me, you don't gotta trust me. They want Tramell gone. And they playing dirty. And the union just did this stunt. The union and transit, I don't delineate from the two. That's where we at right now. That's where we at right now. They want our brother gone. They leaked his G2. Now, I'm telling you from a rep. There's some of my brothers and sisters who've been fired for things on Facebook. They can bring you up on charges for if they think, and they have. If they think you was submitting false statements in your G2, and they can't find out who leaked Tramell's G2, only 3 or 4 people had his G2. General Suit TSS, only a few people. They can't find out. That's a great mystery. They need to do DNA for that. To find out who leaked his document. The same company that came to him. And in my experience as a rep, whenever somebody was hurt, to the extent Tramell was hurt, attacked in the hospital, this pre-COVID, post-COVID, when Tramell got hurt, was post-COVID, somebody went to the hospital. Control will call the union and let them aware that one of us, it could be anything, took that service, BIE, assaulted, anything. They let the union know what's going on immediately. And in this case, and I believe, and I'm explaining one day, y'all say like, yo, he don't never hit Utano. And I'm explaining that to you one day, why I don't, President Utano. He's not, listen, he's staying united. He kept Evangeline out of the election, as he did Tramell. But I tell you why I don't speak badly of him. But I believe Utano. I believe Toussaint. I believe Samuelson. I believe Utano would have made sure a rep was at the hospital with Tramell. Was that, again, he wasn't given due process by transit or by this union. And I believe nobody came there because we have a president that's incapable, is not equipped to be our president. And it pains me as a black man to say that because he's black, allegedly. Because in some circles he says he's not black. Some circles he speaks very disparagingly about black Americans, according to Eric Legal and others. that Richie Davis hates black folks. I don't know if that's true. That's a rumor. I won't even go with that. That's a rumor. That never been substantiated. I didn't get that when I spoke with him. But by his actions, and let me be clear again, there's a lot of VPs that I respect. There's a lot of chairs I respect in this union from different divisions. So, and there's a few people on the 9th floor I like. But Richie Davis handled this thing like he's never had any union experience. He didn't have the objectiveness. I've seen Utano be objective. Maybe he didn't want to, but he had to. But that's what leadership is. And he wasn't objective. When he gave them statements about Tramell, he wasn't objective. Today, next week, when they come after Tramell, they can use his statement. Call him down. I'm sorry, Tramell, I ain't trying to give them no more ammunition. But I'm just speaking the fact. They can call Richie Davis down to Tramell's arbitration and ask him, why did you say that? Did you believe that? That Tramell sucker punch Canelo Gomez? He had a member he had a severe injury. And he couldn't just leave it alone. No comment. We got to wait for the facts to come in. He was so anxious to get Tramell out of there, he blurted that out. And now, as it goes on, I'm not no conspiracy theorist. But when things start lining up a certain way, everybody have this predetermined sentence for Canelo Gomez. Canelo telling everybody that Tramell's gonna get hit with discipline, some spicy discipline. The union PR person sending a reporter to talk to Tramell. So this reporter can spin it. Can spin the story. That's what media does. So they can spin the circumstance, situation, to everything that went on. And this is the ironic thing about this. This is the crazy thing about this. Canelo Gomez said that he was going to change discipline down here. Has he changed it? Yes, he has. Trans's response, you know, they always say Trans's is always reactive, not proactive. Now, they have our professional brothers and sisters in RTO, the most professional individuals I have ever been around in my life. To me, personally, I mean this. It's breathtaking to me to see train operators and conductors, the pros. We got pros down here. They ain't never rattled. They can handle any situation. Anything that come their way. That's the type of people that I'm so proud to work around. That's why I love y'all. Y'all know I do. Y'all know I do. Yeah, listen, ain't no question. There's people I don't like down there. But I'm respectful. We just don't make eye contact. They had nothing to do with I was a rep. But as seeing them every day, I just don't speak to them. I might go step the other way. What Gomez should have did. The choice that Gomez had. And stop saying that both of them. No, but neither one of them should be fired. First of all, stop that. Stop that. But Gomez was the VP. That's it. That's the elephant. That's the Brian Davis in the room. Gomez was the VP. Gomez, and again, we had an officer there, a 300-pound individual, 6 foot something, that could have stopped this. And the union didn't think anything about that. Let me tell you about this union. They know good officers. They know the good officers. I remember, you know how I met Momo? Momo was a great depot chair. And I respect him and I like him. But Momo saw me at the meeting. And after the meeting, I had never seen Momo. He pulled me to the side and started talking to me and tell me we need more people like you. And if I'm on the road, any of us, you know people who have those abilities when you see them. It ain't no slight against anybody. Everybody ain't built to be a rep. But this is what I'm trying to say, is that everybody on that 9th floor, and everybody, they know who the reps are. They know who's equipped. They know who have that oomph about them. And they know who don't have that in them. And they still allow them to be out helping, allegedly helping the members. I'll give you another example. Union don't care. They so busy trying to sell the contract that they don't have their best rep at 2 Broadway there. They don't care what happens to anybody. They don't care. They could care less about the lives of us. While they got this brother trying to sell this contract, because nobody believes anything. He has no credibility in RTO. Canelo Gomez has no credibility in RTO. That's a fact. And if he got 500, I hear you. If he got 1,000, I hear you. It's 7,000 of us. And the vast majority don't have any respect for him at all. But think of the irony of all this, though. Please. This man said he was going to do something about discipline. And what did he do? He's the first VP I know of in RTO to get 30 days in the final. He did something about discipline, all right? He got 30 days on the finals. And on top of that, you got to go into these crew rooms and see these packets. Prevention of workplace violence packet. And all professional brothers and sisters, RTO, got to be subject. Grandmothers, grandfathers, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, all professionals, all doing their jobs, all doing what they supposed to be, all of them representing MTA, themselves and their families with dignity and pride for their jobs. They gotta read this. They gotta be inundated with this literature. Don't we do enough reading? This is what he did. This is what he did on discipline. Got us reading packets on workplace violence. That's what he's done for us. Because of his behavior. Because of his choices. That has nothing to do with Tramell. He made these choices. Transit is reactive. Reacting to his decision. To his incompetence. To his rage. His violence. That's what he's done for us is RTO. I will add stations in there. But we're talking about RTO. But stations, y'all get a piece of this too. Is RTO any better than it was? Under Eric, Joe Costales, and Kia? Is RTO better than it was before he came in? He think his sarcasm and barbecues, and let me correct something, Union's not paying for these barbecues and these events. If it's at the Union Hall, they're paying for it, but these P5s and big screen TVs is not coming out the Union pocket, so I stand corrected on that. But they think they think that they could pay us, but Transit thinks the same thing. I talk about it all the time. They think they give us anything, some OT, we good. That's what the Union is thinking. That's what Canella can thinking. That's what Canella thinks. And all we did under his watch, all this happened under his watch, is we've been even more disrespected. How can he talk about discipline? How can he dare others? Like somebody talking about the environment and burning tires in their backyard. How can he utter the word? How can he, what representation? How's he the person, the man, to talk about us and to represent RTO and the unfair discipline after his behavior? And the Union, that's the thing. The Union know this. They don't know this. They don't know that we're embarrassed by him. But this is the thing. I don't think they care because Richie Davis is the same. Richie Davis conducts himself in the same way. We have a president, mini-me, He's mini Richie Davis. Because there's no way. Like I said, I never called for him to be fired. I called for him to do the right thing and step down. I called for him them to replace him or keep him in the hall because you have a membership. Our brothers and sisters detest him. They don't respect him. And to management and the union, if you get whatever happens with Tramell, progressive action ain't going nowhere. He laid the groundwork for us to fight. I'm not here without Tramell. Canelo ain't here without Tramell. Eric was a VP without Tramell. Jesse's not chair without Tramell. He supported JL there's a bunch of them. And JL, I hear members. I like you, brother. Watch with your slick mouth. Members are calling you and you're being very slick out your mouth to membership. You a chair, act like one. And this is another, these reps, so cavalier. Everybody have their days. I had days as a rep. I thought I was the greatest rep and my head this big. Now you walk around the system and ask how many people I disrespected. And there's a lot of folks, yeah, everybody had their ways. But you don't pick up no phone and get cavalier and sarcastic. We pay dues. You're obligated to represent and advocate for the membership. You also, everybody living high off the hog. They think they can talk to our brothers and sisters any way they want. This is the lack of leadership that we have. This is just what's going on. And let me be clear. I like JL. But you cannot watch your mouth. Watch the way you talk to our brothers and sisters. They call and they tell me this. There's so much belittling and sarcasm and bravado in this union, and they not doing anything for us. And let me say this to my brothers and sisters. I'm going to be honest with you right now. Everybody say we got to get together and fight. But I understand. I understand that there's something holding you back. Your reluctance. They have, we have ways to, I said the other day, we have ways to pretend things don't exist. Coping mechanism. My coping mechanism, listen, for me being this gut, I find a way. We got my man Manacho, Kwanzaa, my brothers and sisters down, my brothers and sisters and my brothers down there. They wrote me diet. My man Manacho wrote me like 20 pages of what to eat. Kwanzaa tell me the exercises to do. Motivate me. Shaming, but what am I doing? I'm still eating this gut. It's going to kill me. And how do I cope? I buy t-shirts. I buy clothes. I try to, if I'm extra large, I buy some XX large. And if I get the XX large, I'm going to get XXL, extra large. But that's why I don't want to face that I'm big. I got a gut. And this gut is going to kill me. But I got to face it. If I don't face it, I'm going to die. But I'm telling you, I'm not facing it. I'm finding ways not to think about it. I found a coping mechanism. Not to do something about my weight. And we're coping with everything that's going on in that transit. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And let me tell you, and fair. And I'm be honest with you. I tried to, I've been trying to stand up. Always try to stand up for myself. Always. But in recent months, I've been going to the doctor a lot. And I take my wife with me. And she says to me, why you don't speak up for yourself? Why you don't say nothing? And I said to my wife, I did say something to him. She said, no, you didn't. So I take my wife there so she can talk to the doctor. I don't know what it is. I ain't talking about these doctors at the MAC. I look at them like everybody else at Transit. Forget them. I'm not saying they ain't medical professionals, but I don't look at them as nothing professional. But when I go to the doctor, I'm not myself. I shrink a little bit when I go to doctors. I don't know what it is. I ask questions, but evidently, according to I don't ask the right questions. And this is my health. This is my life. So I take my wife with me to advocate for me. Because for some reason, I don't advocate for myself when I go to the doctor. So what I'm trying to do right now is go to